Hello everybody, today is April 5th, 2016, and we're going to be doing a how-to video, and as you may know, I own a ThinkPad T430, and while T430s tend to have a couple problems, one of which includes the internal fan and cooling assembly. So today, we will be replacing said assembly. A few tools to complete this repair are isopropyl alcohol, obviously a new fan assembly, some thermal paste, something to clean off the old thermal paste, depending on your situation, some compressed air, and last but not least, a multi-adaptive screwdriver thing. Also, if you're not a master at everything, you're going to probably need the factory service manual, which can easily be found at Lenovo's support website. So let's get to it, shall we? Alright, the first thing you're going to need to do to complete this repair is to flip the computer around, and just for everybody's sake, actually wait, let me do a couple things. Okay, here. We're going to grab a screwdriver and find a Phillips bit. That Phillips bit will be used to remove these two screws on this RAM compartment right here. So we're going to screw this RAM compartment, take this cover and place it somewhere safe. There are two screws that are right here. I should run right here and one right there. So we're going to remove both of these screws as well. Again, I'm teaching a tutorial on how to disassemble a freaking computer. Keep these screws aren't captive to anything, so keep them somewhere safe. I prefer just keeping them in this little chassis where the screwdrivers went. So we'll take those two off. Now, what we're going to need to do, we're going to flip the computer around. This computer hasn't been used in a while because this fan problem has been persisting for a little bit. If you were wondering what the fan problem was, there are tons of other videos on YouTube showcasing this fan problem. So I don't feel that I should need to show it to you. Just search T430 fan noise or T430 fan problem. Now, I managed to get to this solution from the Lenovo forums because what I had noticed was there are two different manufacturers of fan. After this, you're going to remove the keyboard, as you can see. And underneath the keyboard, there is a small ribbon cable. You're going to unplug the ribbon cable very gently. Right there. Okay, that's the keyboard off. This keyboard is pretty shiny, so I mean it's not in the best shape, but there's a possibility I would be getting a backlit keyboard for this, so it's not like this is too big of a loss. The next thing you're going to need to do to get at the CPU fan is, of course, it's blocked off by these two metal shields, so what to do other than take off the palm rest? First thing you're going to need to do to take off the palm rest is, well, we're going to remove some screws, and, well, you're going to see me remove all these screws because this portion of the video is being sped up. I won't bore you with me removing a whole bunch of screws, so you'll see which ones I remove. If you know where those are on your T430, then great. If not, well, you can find it in your maintenance manual that's on that computer over there. So let me unscrew. There are two screws that are underneath the palm rest. Underneath the keyboard, sorry. Now what you're going to need to do after removing all of those screws is do some snapping. First, this is always the worst part in my opinion, because it's the most twiddly, and it's not my favorite. This is the reason why I don't like it when computer manufacturers tend to put all of their replaceable components underneath, like all their replaceable components on top of the system rather than on the bottom. Just makes me feel extremely frustrated when they do this, because sometimes I feel like I break my computer. I'll take a look at our service manual here. There are tons of little snaps on both sides of this machine, so just be careful. And I'm sorry if some of this is off camera, but it's just the way I work sometimes. It might not always show up on camera, but this might not necessarily be too much regarded as a how-to video. It's just sort of showing me doing a repair. If you want to use it for that purpose, go ahead. I don't mind, but just keep in mind that I am not responsible if your computer automatically catches in halt and catch fire mode after this repair is finished. So now the palm rest is off, thankfully. That didn't take too long. If I really wanted to, I could have filmed it, but apparently the film camera makes it, but whatever. Now, you will see there's a ribbon cable right under there, right here. To do that, you'll need to unplug it. That's all. Now, you have to sort of slide your palm rest out. This is what your palm rest should look like. Keep this somewhere safe because you're probably going to need it again. Well, now comes a really interesting part. You're going to remove your speakers. Have two speakers right here. Obviously your computer is in a stereophonic reception, so yeah, you're going to remove your speakers. Done so by removing two Phillips screws that are right here. They have very large heads, you can see, but they themselves are extremely thin, so keep that in mind. Keep them somewhere else. So pretty much all you're going to do is you're going to hinge it just like I did here, and you're going to hinge it outwards like this, and there's a very thin cable, so don't pull too hard, or else you'll be in a whole world of hurt and you're going to need some new speakers. So now we've gotten to what we need, and when we've gotten to what we need, we can finally do what we need to do, and that is to, of course, replace it. And well, to replace it, it's a pretty difficult task, but it's not really that difficult if you know what you're going to do. So, first thing we're going to try and do for just a second here is to overlay our new fan assembly to the old fan assembly, and it looks like it's a pretty good fit. So we have a couple cables in the way right here, so we're just going to push them outwards. Or actually, I think that would be better left to near the end after we've removed some screws and hinged this part up. So the first thing you're going to need to do is there is a where's the to work the tripod here. There is a black connector that's like right there, which connects the fan to the rest of the system. So that connector needs to be removed before I can put the new fan back in. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit of a backstory here. There are two types of fans that were released for this computer. The first one being a Toshiba, the second one being a Delta Electronics. One of them ended up failing much more than the other, and well, unfortunately, I was on the unlucky end of that spectrum there. Okay, that is now unclipped and undone. The second, often the most nerve-wracking part, because if you don't do it right, and you don't, actually, it's not if you don't do it right, if you don't put it back the right way, then you're going to be in a whole world of hurt. Take this thermal assembly off of here. So you just do it crosswise, because that way you're not going to ruin anything. Okay, that's it. For that screw, 1. You just do it 1, 2, 3, and 4, like it says right on here. And you just do number 4. And then I think it's possible to start lifting it off. But you can go over them twice if you need to. So there, we took this thing off. It's a little bit snug. Oh, there we go, it just comes right out. So this is our old fan. As you can see, this is a Toshiba fan, because if you do a little bit of a comparison, you can see the original fan and the new fan, and the new fan has much larger air vents on the back than the new fan does, and the new fan is also much larger than the old fan in terms of like the size of the hole. So yes, as you can see, this is the old fan. Just pretty standard little unit. But we're just going to put this right out here. This fan is going to be our new fan, which is very exciting. So, now is when you're going to need the coffee filters. Storing all your crap here, well, I have some coffee filters here. The reason you use coffee filters is because they're not really of a fibrous nature, if you know what I'm talking about. They're not going to fall apart on you, because they're meant to be at least somewhat water resistant, I'll say, whatever. So what you're going to do, you're just going to fold it a couple times. And you're going to get your isopropyl alcohol right here. This is 99% isopropyl alcohol. So you're just going to add a little bit to your cloth here. And you're going to very carefully, very gently take off the thermal paste on your Core i5 or i7 processor. Maybe even i3. This will work on the T430i as well, so don't... They did decide to put a lot of thermal paste on this, so you're going to need to maybe have a couple of coffee filters. One might not always be enough. So, after you're done doing that, you might want to use some compressed air just to clean off the rest of the fluff or whatever. I don't know, I think it just works better that way. Yeah, so that's our CPU die clean. I have thermal paste wet somewhere, but I think we'll be okay. So thermal paste. I went ahead and it went underneath the desk for me. I'm gonna grab some scissors here. Thermal paste. It usually doesn't come like this, but I was too cheap for the Arctic Silver, so it's just crappy Chinese brand, but meh. It should work good enough for now. When I decide I should afford Arctic Silver, then I'll buy Arctic Silver then. Oh, I forgot one thing. Get another coffee filter. And just in case, because, well, you don't know what happens during shipping or whatever, you need to clean the CPU just a little bit more. But you never know what happens during shipping, so what you're going to do, you know, we know that isopropyl alcohol, or any type of alcohol, actually does tend to dissolve oils. Pretty interesting. So all we're going to do is we're going to grab the surface of this cooler, and we're just going to rub it a little bit. We're going to rub it with our isopropyl alcohol. That's just to get some of the dirt off of it, mostly. That's all. I'm just going to do one final cleaning here of the die itself, and you just want it to be 100% absolutely spotless. You want to see your own shining face in it if you are of that sort. So, after that is finished, you're going to start to take this thing back together again. First thing you're going to do is you're going to cut open, well, let's close this first because that will cause this whole world to hurt. You're going to cut open your little thing of thermal paste, and you're just going to leave a tiny little hole. Okay, after applying the thermal paste extremely diligently, I'll say, this CPU I think is ready to come back together because, well, when we squish it, it will pretty much. After this thing is ready to go back together, so let's put our new fan in, shall we? Okay. First thing you're going to need to do is pertaining to the new cooler. Don't touch the bottom of the cooler, at least not right now. And actually never. Don't ever touch the bottom of the cooler. No, not in the future. Goes for any CPU cooler. Don't touch the bottom of it. Wait a second. These wires, they just don't want to come in, do they? Let's just put this thing into it. And there. That's the thing that's in our cooler anyway. So, we're going to screw it in according to the rules that are printed on it. Okay, that's all four connected. Now, what we're going to need to do is plug in our fan. Give it a nice little push, just so that the thermal paste could be able to sink in a little bit more. Just so that that can happen, alright? Now we're going to screw our speakers back in, which, well, fat little screws again. They're fat, but they're short. Call them higher than normal BMI screws. I don't know if screws can have BMI. I know I'm a really, really interesting person. Okay, after our speakers are in, well, we need the coffee filters. We're going to put in the palm rest, obviously. Again, what I said with the ribbon cable, make sure you plug it back in. That's very important. I think we're in pretty good shape with this palm rest right here. Now we're going to screw some screws. Well, I managed to get the thing back on. It did involve a little bit of swearing and repair work, but, well, that's what we do here. So now come the keyboard. Because, well, that's what needs to be screwed on in order for me to power this machine on, because, well, the keyboard has a power button and a machine goes nowhere without a power button. So, time to put this thing back on right here. I often put it on like right here, because then I can find where to put the ribbon cable at and shove in this keyboard, actually. Wait, I'm not doing this right. Wait, right here. Okay. Then we just do it like this. Give it a nice shove, make sure there's no like little lines or anything. I think that's all. Close her up. It's okay if I hit it, because this thing has an SSD in it, and that's fine. Now the machine is ready to blast off, or, well, after this machine has its first blast off, give a nice cleaning and the battery charged, I'll take you again later.